Hey guys, it's Bob Herzog, the team success manager over at MyHomeGroup and the owner of Bob Herzog Coaching. Today's really a cool episode that we're putting together. We've got Dan Hughes with us, who is one of the partners for CTE, Commitment to Excellence. But those of you that don't know, CTE is a program that is offered to all of the team leaders at MyHomeGroup, courtesy of one of our power partners and good friends, Lizzie Hofer over at Cross Country Mortgage. So I asked Dan to come in today and just go over the program with us in detail. We're starting to get more and more requests from team leaders that are interested in this. And I thought, what better than to have one of the partners come in and really kind of go into a deeper dive with all of you so that you can see all that it has to offer. The way that CTE showed up on our radar at MyHomeGroup is back when I owned my own brokerage and then closed my brokerage, moved it over to MyHomeGroup and brought my team over in 2017. This is a program that I basically ran my entire brokerage on, and then obviously my team. It's unbelievable what it has in it. Before that, I was spending literally hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars a month getting people to redo my Excel spreadsheets and try to customize them to what I was looking for. And then probably around 2014, 2015, I stumbled across CTE and I was just like, oh my gosh, this has everything I need. So it's something that, with my coaching business that I have, the Bob Herzog Coaching, my clients all are using it, love it. It makes it super easy for us to go over numbers, goals, business planning. I mean, everything under one roof. And literally, if you're a team at MyHomeGroup, it's free. Now, if you're not a team at MyHomeGroup, say you're a team at another brokerage or an agent, a single agent, then the cost for it is only $40 a month, if you can believe that. So it's something that we offer at MyHomeGroup. As Dan will attest, I don't get paid any kind of referral fees or anything like that for suggesting you guys use it. I only brought it in because I know how powerful it is. So without any further ado, I'm going to let Dan kind of take things over and show you guys everything this can do for you and your team. So welcome, Dan. Thank you for taking the time to do this today. We appreciate it.
Certainly. I'm excited to have the opportunity. And with those that are following this call today, if they reach out to you individually or as a team lead, you can give them the information as to how to go about getting a program like we have offered for themselves. So well, welcome, everyone. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. And we'll be rocking and rolling here. So this first screen that I'm sharing, just give you a little background. This is our main website. And on our website, we launched the program in 2014. So Bob was one of the originals to probably even go through what we probably classify as beta testing way back when. However, we've grown to over 13,000 agents and brokerages that are using our program. And it's really simple and easy to use. So we're going to walk you through that today. All of our growth has been word of mouth. So it's really not a sales-driven, marketing-driven product to try to sell you on something that may improve your business. It's a proven and effective tool for helping you run and track your real estate business. So this is our main website, and there's some visuals on there. So once you get the program in your hands, what and how we set this up foundationally, I'm just going to give you some background to that, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts. So all of our programming is built through Microsoft, and we have each member of our client base, they all get a cloud. So the program's fully web-based. It's accessible from any device. You do not have to be a Microsoft customer to use our program, and you can have multiple people in here at the same time. And it's always saving. So there's just all these different facets to make the program easy to use and effective for 21st century technology being web-based. So here's my cloud. So I open up a web browser, type in my information and password, and then I can go to my files. You can see I have some previous history here. So I'm just going to click on the file that I want. So if I'm administering this with my transaction coordinator or general manager or admin, they can just, I give them the information, they go in here. This should only be accessible by your leadership team. Once they click on the file, it opens up here in a web browser. So this is what the program looks like on the home dash. So our program is very involved It has over 300,000 lines of programming code in it. So don't let that overwhelm you. It is really easy as 1, 2, 3. So that's how we've coined it. We have a fully devoted website with videos on every feature to our program, even scheduling a one-on-one. So this is accessible 24/7 for all of our clients to really dive deep into our program. I always like to say affectionately, if you spend about 45 minutes of learning curve with us, you have your master's degree in our program. So it really is simple, and it doesn't take a lot of time. So I'm going to walk through what time it would take in certain areas so that you can kind of budget around knowing how little of time would be necessary to implement this into your strategy of tracking your real estate business. So again, so I'm currently on the home dash. And the CT support bubble and all of these bubbles here at the top, these are reports that are generated from data that goes into this easy as 1, 2, 3. So we're going to spend some time in each of these areas. If I click on the CT support bubble, that fancy website I was sharing with all those videos on them and accessible one-on-ones, if you click on that CT support bubble, it takes you to this website. So it's really simple and easy and effective to use. Now, I'm going to dive into this easy as 1, 2, 3 area because this is where 80% of the heavy lifting is done in the program. So when Bob was using it for his brokerage and for his production team, similarly, it hasn't really changed since 2014. The look and feel is the same. The technology, the innovations that have been done are always continuous on our end. So we continue to implement those, and we've grown the program quite a bit. So let's just click on the business plan. So what's important about a business plan is obviously it's mapping out your direction to what you want to accomplish. And the only way to do it effective in our times where everything's just a hustle and bustle is really to have real-time information. So what typically happens for new clients, this would be blank, so you wouldn't have any information on this, and this is just my demo account that I'm sharing with you. I'd watch this tutorial video. It'll explain how to fill this out, and then I would just click from different cells. At the beginning, yours are going to be yellow in color so that you can see, okay, they're blank, and it looks like I probably should put some information in there. Keep in mind, with our program, you can use as little or as much of our program as you want. So that's up to each user. If you want to put in a lot of detail to mapping out what your plan is, you can certainly do that. In my case, I put myself as the lead agent. So I'm a traditional rainmaker, and I'm in production, and I have hired on team members for us to meet our goals. So let's just stick with Mary here as an example. And then under the role column, it asks me what role does each person have on my team. So I have both listing and buyers here. So the power of our program isn't just mapping out who's on your team and what they do. That's minimally what we need in the program. However, if you take the extra 10 minutes a year and you want to see a tail tape of what happens in your business for 12 months, like 200 units sold, 2.1 in GCI, and the net after taxes is what you put in your personal bank account, then you're going to put in some additional detail. And we have some tools that go along with that. Right just below my name here, it says how to set agent goals. When I click on that, it actually takes me to a website where I can sit down with Mary as an example, who's on my team, or even myself, and I can start with a tutorial video, and I can plug in all of my categories to how I run my team and where is my average commissions, etc. I'm not going to walk through this entire tool, but however, this tool is available for everybody to use and plan that out. And you can send Mary to this, and she can print it off. And when she does that, she can hand it into you, and you can have a goal discussion around, what she's going to plan to track and accomplish for the year.
Hey, Dan, can you go back to that screen real quick? Because this is a really important one that it's something that we use probably more than anything else in CTE, especially when we're doing our business plans. What this allows you guys to do, and obviously we're not going to go through it all today, but where it says your net income goal up there at the top, it allows agents to put in what their net income, actually over there to the left, Dan, in the upper left. Yeah. You put in, like, an agent comes in and says, hey, I want to make $100,000 this year. You put that in, and then you start plugging in all those numbers along the top, like the percent of, how many listings does this agent take versus buyers, the average sales price for the market, the average commission, taxes, expenses, split to the team, split to broker. I mean, everything you can plug in there for an agent, and it takes 5 minutes. Literally, it spits out, when you're done, it spits out how many homes, how many listings, and how many buyers that agent will need to sell to make that $100,000 after splits, after taxes, everything else, and actually takes it all the way down to even how many calls per day they need to make. That's how granular this thing gets. So it's really, really probably one of the one tools in here that I use most frequently. Now, once you do that with your agents and you set their business plan, now you have something to talk to them about in their monthly one-on-ones or quarterly one-on-one meetings. You can pull this out, see how they're tracking by using the rest of CTE, which Dan's going to go over here in a minute. You'll be able to tell at any given time how close your agent is tracking to their goal that they gave you for the year. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say real quick about this is you can actually do this for the team. Okay. If you're the team leader and you say, we want to net $500,000 this year as a team, and you plug these numbers in, it tells you how many homes the team needs to sell. Okay. And then obviously it breaks it down into how many appointments the team needs to make and how many calls the team needs to make. So it just, the name of the game when you're holding agents accountable is making things as granular as possible. Okay. We want to be activities focused, not results focused. And what this does, it takes the result, which is what the agent wants, that whatever income, but then it breaks down the activities. And then what CTE does, as you'll see, as it focuses on, obviously the results that the team's looking for in terms of numbers. But the key thing is that Dan's going to go over today is it allows you to track the activities that lead to the results, i.e., how many calls the agent's making, how many contacts they're making, how many appointments they're setting, how many open houses are they sitting. It allows you, the agents will have an app on their phone where they can plug all this stuff in. But again, it allows you to focus on their activities and see how that's tracking, because that's what's going to bring them the results. So sorry to cut you off there, Dan. That's just a really important feature that I wanted to point out real quick.
Certainly. No, it's quite all right. I'm happy to have you on the team today as we go through this with those that will be watching this.
Sure.
So let's extrapolate out. Say we've done all that work. We now know Mary's goal. We have she's turned in her information. We know where her income or average sale prices are, what her split is with me. It'll calculate a benchmark of volume for Mary, income, how much will I pay Mary, how much will I earn from Mary's efforts to the team owner. And then on the right side of this green column, this is where the secret sauce for our program will help out the agents. So it has, starting with the end in mind, how many closings is the benchmark, how many contracts, how many appointments to set each month and annually, all the way down to the last bit of how many contacts to make. So, and you can change these conversion percentages. So we do have some percentages here. It allows you, if 90% of Mary's listing contracts completely successfully sell, you could change it from 65% to 90%. It just changes the effort that's involved. So you can manually do that. However, what the secret sauce is we have artificial intelligence in our back office to our program to let you know and Mary know where she's at and where she should be at every day, week, month, quarter, year to date. An example, say that she had one closing for a month of April as a goal and she hit 0. Her next month goal might have been for May 1. However, now it's shifted to 2 closings for the month of May to keep her on pace for hitting the bullseye on the target on December 31st. Okay, so really it takes over. You don't have to recalculate anything out. Once these benchmarks are set, you're going to know where someone should be any given day out of the 365 in the year. You know where they're at and where they should be at. So that's the power of setting these goals and monitoring those. And then obviously we want to be as effective as possible for getting you the outcome that you need. So that's how this tool works. Typically, business plans in CT can be completed in about 15 minutes to 20 minutes a year. And just add people to the team as you grow. And if anybody ever leaves the team, we have this inactive. All you have to do is shift it from blank to yes, and that person's name no longer shows up on reports. However, their data stays in here forever. So it's quite convenient. Again, if I went too fast on any of this, it's supported by a tutorial video right here. So I'm going to jump to the home page, and we've really covered a major portion of how the tool works effectively for you and tracking your business through what we call the business plan. The second area of this program is called My Business. So as you can see, I have some examples of some of the units and the volumes and the commission dollars that I have here. This is a report on the home dash within the reports. So how does that information for my units and my transactions get put into the system? It's in this area 2 of the easiest 1, 2, 3 called My Business. So this is where teams that typically close 200 units annually spend about 5 minutes per week of admin time. So it's heavily leveraged. However, it is manually entered. So again, here's a tutorial video. You'd watch that. Keep in mind, even if you had a PhD from Microsoft, we wouldn't want you to change the title of a column or insert a row. We do all of that customization request complimentary. So just reach out to us if you need something changed or something that doesn't quite formulate exactly to the way that you see or visually see things on your DA. We'll make changes to the default settings in there to make them accurate for you and your way of tracking, okay? So getting back to this, typically this is done by one person on the team, like maybe a transaction coordinator or your admin. They would find a blank row under type. They would find if it's a listing or a buyer. They just have to choose. We have these drop-down menus that make it quick and easy. You can use different varieties of statuses. Maybe it's a coming soon or active, or it's already closed, or a missed opportunity. If expires in days on market, those two columns are locked based on when the listing date or buyer rep was signed, and if you include an expiration date. So just keep in mind, our system is just designed to track and monitor everything, even down to referral income checks or other commercial deals. So I'm just going to move from left to right. Address would be a column, who the client is, how did you source the business. We have a drop-down list of all these sources. However, if you don't see your item in there, you just type it in the blank space, hit enter, it saves it to the list. Then you just include the particular dates as it's progressing through the transaction. When did it go under contract? When did it project to close? When it was in pending status? What is the close date? What did it list for? What if you have an active buyer? What are they shopping for? Here we have a sales funnel that measures those units and volumes and potential commission dollars. Once it's closed, you can update the sale price, or if it's pending, you can also update that price as well. And our system will measure your list to sale price. So you can use that in your seller presentation. So you don't have to search down your MLS production data. It's right here in your CT for you on one of the reports. Commission percentage. We have a drop-down menu. You can choose flat. So in the case that I had a referral check, I have $5,000 here. I just chose a flat and I zeroed out the units. I'm not taking credit for a referral check for my units. However, for commissions on listings and buy sides, I have 3% here. Calculates the GCI. We have some additional columns here, bonus and transaction fee. So if you earn revenue on top of the commission from the client, maybe they pay for certain things that you offer through your services, you can add that revenue here. The broker split and the royalty split, or franchise split, those are tracked with formulas, or it could be based on a percentage. It can be based on the per transaction. You can manually enter in here. My current program in my business plan is automatically taking a percent to these two entities, and that's showing my cost of sales. If I have an outgoing outside agent referral, I can put that amount here. Now, when it comes to paying out team members, we have this primary agent member split 2, 3, and 4. So it just gives you multiple people to pay on any one transaction. And it's easy. I just find Mary's name from the drop-down list, and I can pay her a percent. It calculates her GCI. There might be times where I pay her a flat amount, so I just leave it blank. And if I pay multiple people, maybe I have an ISA or an admin working or a showing assistant, I can choose to put their name along with the other agents on the team as to what they're getting paid. Now you can see I have some blank spots here in the primary agent. That's because myself as the Rainmaker lead agent in the program, I can put my name here. However, it'd be like dual entry. So if I put Dan Hughes here at 100%, it would calculate that out. However, I'm just going to scroll really quickly to the far right. You'll see that we actually have a column for the lead agent. So it shows me my gross income, my 1099 income, all the way down to my net after taxes. And what's amazing about having this tracked this way is at the top of every column, one of these golden nuggets for a program, it sums the closed transactions of these green colored rows. So I should be able to reconcile that I have $92,000 in my personal bank account. And for my my bank account I pay my taxes out of, I should have about $33,000 in that account. Okay. So it's just ideally built. Now, you don't have to track it down to every morsel in our program has to be that down to the penny. It's a guideline that we put in there, and you can, again, use as little or as much of our program as you want. We have some additional columns here for if you track maybe a donation that you pay out of your transactions as the lead agent. Maybe you pay for sign installs. So we can put those expenses in here so you can track that detail. If you want to track the inspection appraisal dates of the mortgage or closing companies that you're working with, you can certainly do that. They will generate reports to show you how those relationships have been working out. It's important for you to note who generated the prospect. Was it the agent and their efforts, or was it the team's resources? We have a fun little scorecard here to show you that report if you're tracking those individual prospects. If you want to put a link directly to the contract, you can do that from your CT as well, some notes. And then if you ever need to print a commission statement, you just click on this print commission statement. pulls in the information. You never have to re-enter anything once you've entered it into the data sheet. It'll always populate these drop-down menus from all the addresses that you've included already in the data sheet. You just choose the one you want. It populates the information. Maybe you need to include this on a commission statement, or maybe you have to print it out for Mary so she can see the detail. You just easily click print, tutorial video to explain anything I went too fast on. If I click on My Biz, it takes me back to where we just started with all the transaction data. So that's really how things get tracked in monitored. You see some stuff that's red here, cells that you might say, well, why is that? Is it broken? No, it's not broken. We actually have some programming in there to say, we're going to highlight the cells red for your administrators to see that how easy our system is actually looking for some information, okay? So it's quick and easy, and you can see that everything is fulfilled out in completeness if you don't have these red cells. So Bob, any questions on this transaction stuff?
Real quick, just a couple things I wanted to jump in on real quick. I think one of the key things here, guys, with this is that this is something, like Dan said at the beginning, this is something that your TC can do in 5 minutes for every transaction. What we used to do is we would only put our buyers in once they went to pending. However, we would put our listings in right away so that we could see, what our days on market average was for our listings and that sort of thing. But the key thing to remember with this is people are like, oh my gosh, this is going to take more time. Your TC is already going to be putting stuff into SkySlope or whatever transaction management software you're using. It literally takes them 5 minutes to put the transactions in here as well. And then when they close them in their transaction management system, they close them in here, and you're done. Now, one of the biggest things that that we used was the source, Dan, where it says, where did the lead come from? This is a question that comes up. It's so valuable to know this information at the end of the year when you're budgeting for next year of where your dollar is going to go for advertising next year to generate leads. And you can add categories to this, whatever, lead generation things you're doing to generate leads. It could be Google pay-per-click. It could be Zillow. It could be, whatever source you're using. It could be circle prospecting, open houses. But at the end of the year, it allows you to really sit down and figure out where your money's going and where you're getting the most bang for your buck, which is such a valuable tool for team leaders to decide, am I going to spend more on pay-per-click next year, or pay-per-click's not doing so well, but Zillow's doing better, or whoever. That's where we're going to put our funds. So again, the name of the game here with using this system, guys, is knowing your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you're going to crash and burn. And this just puts everything in one place and makes it so easy for you. So go ahead, Dan. Sorry, I just wanted to add that real quick.
I appreciate you adding that, and we can certainly run through. Keep in mind, our program has additional tools in it, like a listing checklist, pending checklist. So there's so many things that we don't have time to cover every single thing. However, once you start on this path of using our program and understand how little effort time-wise, if you think about the scheme of things, spending 15 minutes on a business plan, spending 5 minutes a week on administering, putting your transactions in, it's relatively minimal when you get 30 different reports on ways that you can analyze your business from the front door to the back door, basement to the ceiling. You're going to know your numbers with our program. And the report that Bob was referring to, there's a lead source ROI report. I'm just going to click on it now because it's a subject that we were just visiting on. In the case, there's visuals, so you'll see Pareto charts that will show who and where you do the most business. You'll see incremental data. Now, this isn't re-entered manually. This is pulled directly from the transactions that we just logged in. So 2 units closed this much income, the net income to the lead agent after they pay the expense of what you spent on that marketing investment. And after you paid your agents for their efforts, how much are you netting? And it calculates automatically what the percent is. You can see the breakout by month. You can scroll way over here and see it incrementally by month. However, the core summary is going to always be right here for your top lead sources. So really, don't want to spend too much time on every single report. We don't have time to go into all that stuff. However, you can see that it's available, and you don't have to put extra effort in anymore. It's put it in the data sheet one time, and it feeds to the 30 different reports. And if I click on this little home icon here, it takes us right back to where we started. Okay, so we're really focused on these 3 areas today. So we're going to dive into something that I think is really unique to what our program offers, and a key driver for monitoring your team members' efforts on an activity basis. Okay, so in the business plan, if you recall, we did set some benchmarks for Mary as to how many appointments will she need now, how many contacts will she need. Well, how do we get Mary to report this instead of our transaction coordinator? Put Mary in charge of letting us know and entering, and without allowing her access to see all of your financials. So this is how this feature works. We call it lead generation. So I'm going to click on that now. So why and how we built this feature is because everybody understands the value of knowing your KPIs, key performance indicators. So we have default categories here like setting appointments and holding them, and we can measure the conversions. How many hours did you spend lead generating? However, again, you can customize this to be different categories that you want. So just let us know. We'll change them for you. So how this feature works is I've activated this lead gen URL. And there's a tutorial video that explains how this all works. However, why do we have this lead gen URL here? Well, I want everybody on my team to tell me what they're doing daily. You can set the frequency, maybe it's weekly. However, majority of our clients I know are doing it daily. And I create an email and I include this link and I send this email to everybody on my team, including this link in that message. When Mary receives that email from her phone or a computer, she clicks on the link. And when she does that, this is what she actually sees. It's what we call a survey page. So she can quickly find the date, quickly find her name, and then scroll down from top to bottom, filling out the categories that we've set the expectations for her to complete. When she gets to the bottom in about 10 seconds, she hits submit. She gets a box that says, thank you for submitting. And the data goes directly into the data sheet and feeds the 30 reports that are measuring all of these activities. Okay, so it's real convenient for Mary. And most of our clients, if they have some type of automatic email tool, like if you have a Gmail account, they have a tool called Boomerang. It basically helps you create one email one time and set parameters to send it out to Mary every day automatically. And Mary likes that too, because then when she gets that email, she completes the process of filling out the survey page and hits submit, and she deletes that email that she received from you because she knows there's going to be another one showing tomorrow in her inbox, which would be a reminder for her, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, what's awesome about the whole entire program is now we have a data sheet of information that now is being fed to many, many reports. One report is called Access Lead Generation KPI Reports. So if you are the team lead and you have all of these categories being measured by your team members, so dials and contacts and nurtures, and their names are appearing, the goals are appearing, and you can toggle throughout the whole program. There's many reports that have this toggle switch here. It says time frame. So maybe you as a team want to talk about, well, what did we do yesterday or second quarter or a particular month or even a custom date range? You can select that change and it will update automatically what was the result of that time frame. Okay, so it's real simple to use and it covers all of those categories based on what the agents are reporting. So that's really how this feature works. Bob, I'm going to give you a second. I think you might have some questions or you want me to cover some additional details?
Real quick, there is an optional side to this too, isn't there, Dan, where I think you pay a certain amount for the year, a very low amount of dollars to give your agents access to an app on their phone where they can input their activities for the day as well, isn't there?
Well, so that's a good question. We do have a feature that allows the agents to see the summary of all of their entries. So that is something that's an incremental a la carte program. So if you're a team and you want to empower Mary to know, what her numbers are looking like, that's a feature that I can walk through in the future if that's someone needs that. However, this whole entire feature that we just covered, the lead gen URL, this feature, and them recording the data and using the survey page, and they can record that from their phone or a computer, all of that's included in the CTE space.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay. I knew there was something. That's fine. Great.
No worries. No worries. I'll cover that here just in a moment.
Sure.
So really, you can do this either way. You can empower the agents to use the lead gen URL and they can submit their data on a daily basis or weekly, whatever the time frame is. However, you can also have an administrator. Maybe you have somebody that's working on your team with the data that's in your CRM or your database, like Follow Up Boss or something like that. Or you can just have your admin go in, pick that particular day, put Mary's name in here, and put in and transpose Mary's data so that it doesn't have to be Mary. Maybe you don't want to have the agents you have them doing other things. So just know that it's not one way or another. It's your preference as the team lead how it gets done. Okay?
Yeah, and the big thing here, guys, is again, we need to be focusing. If we're running a team, we need to be focusing on the activities that our agents are doing and not just the results. And this is such a critical tool. Okay. Again, it's something that takes your agents 5 minutes at the end of the day to input all of their activities that they did that day to generate business. If you're feeding them leads, they should be happy to sit down and show what they're doing. Okay. If you're paying money for those leads, they owe it to you to take 5 minutes out of their day to show you how many calls they made, how many contacts they made, how many appointments they set. If they went out with buyers that day, how many buyers did they show homes to? How many listing appointments? How many open houses? All of that is in that little drop down that they can put in every day. There's a call sheet that the agents can use as they're dialing. So it makes it really easy at the end of the day to just sit down and input this data. Again, if you're not tracking what these guys are doing all day long, how do you know your numbers? And then you're always going to get that agent that comes to you that's not doing well and says, well, the leads suck. Well, no, the leads don't suck, because look at what how many calls Mary's making, how many appointments she's setting versus how many Dan is doing and how many appointments he's setting. So it's not the leads, it's you. You're not putting the effort in. And if you're not having your agents do this, it's going to kill you. Okay. It gives you no way to track where where the effort's going. So it's such a critical thing. It's something you've got to be doing if you're not doing it already on your team. And this just makes it so easy to keep track of it. So go ahead.
Certainly. So moving on from the areas of the easiest 1, 2, 3, I'm just going to click back to the Home Dash tab. And so we covered these 3 areas. Again, like I say, if you spend your learning curve going through these 3 areas, this is where 80% of the heavy lifting is done in our program. And you have your master's degree in our program. So data in here feeds to all of these report options at the top. So let's go full circle with Mary. We talked about a benchmark for her business plan. We talked about transaction data that she's going to get paid out on, and she's tracking some lead generation activities. So one of the 30 reports that we have is called agent scorecards. So this would be where you want to empower Mary to know where she's at and where she should be at, as well as the individual team lead. You're going to be able to go to this report, click choose agent, and I'll walk through. Mary can't see any of this information right now. However, I'm going to talk about what Bob had referenced there about giving Mary access to like an app that she can look at her numbers without seeing everybody else's, nor seeing the lead agents. However, currently as the lead agent, you just choose Mary's name, whichever agent you want. You can see here's her goal that we set in the business plan. And we also have some transaction data here based on categories and what she's closed for units, volume, and commission dollars. Here's some more goal information. Her listings closed and goal for the year was 2. She's at 9. She's well over 100%. Buyers closed. She's at 8. She's at 5. So this data is currently changing in my demo account. So that's probably why it looks like Mary's kicking some tail right now on our goal, because I just keep dropping different things in there when I'm having different conversations with all the people that we talk to. Over here, we have our top lead sources. So depending on when and where she got that business, it will track that. Over here from her lead gen data that she's been putting in, where her listing appointments set to held conversions are, buyer appointments set to held, how many contacts is she needing to set appointments. Obviously, I only have one row of information. So again, she looks very stellar in her output performance. Over here, we can see her income, her appointments held by month, where she should be at. So we kind of build these in as progression reports, so you can kind of watch as she's moving forward, if she's nailing those or not. Incrementally, you'll be able to view upon all of the categories that we have in the lead gen area. So if you remember, we had the contact styles, setting appointments, etc. So here's her January month. Here's her year goal and what the variance is to that goal. So obviously, since we're over 6 months into the year, she has quite a bit of area to catch up based on just providing data for 1 month. So as you scale this in your teams and you're getting this recorded at a regular routine basis for everybody, you'll have a lot of information to see at the variance to where she's at and where she should be at. And then again, we have income information related to her units and goals, as well as an individual whiteboard. And if I scroll down this report even further, it shows me what her last 15-day entries were. and as well as what we call a 411. And this is a goal that can be set up quickly and easily too, to help Mary with what her 4-week, 1 month, and 1 year goal is, so we can see what the variance is to where she's at and where she should be at based on these categories. Again, all this information that pulls into this report does not have to be entered additionally. It's already into those easy as 1, 2, 3 areas. Transactionally, it's in there. The lead generation data is in there. It just pulls from our back office programming and coding, pulls it directly to her name, to her report card. So this is what we'd call the agent scorecard. Now, to allow Mary to see all this information without seeing it, I just want to cover that real quick, Bob, and I know you probably have some questions that you want to include. This is where he was talking, Bob was referring to what we call the team member login. This is an added feature that 80% of our teams add, and just loading it on the website because it's an a la carte thing. It's $59 for the entire year, and it covers the entire team. So it's what we call, it's not technically an app. It's called a mobile-friendly website. However, it allows for this amount of money to empower Mary not to go to your admin every 24 hours a day and ask the admin, hey, how am I doing? This feature allows Mary to see on her own without seeing anybody else's information on a website, and a mobile-friendly version to see this information. So it's very economical, and like I say, the majority of teams will add this to empower Mary to see where she's at. Okay.
Yeah.
Bob, you want to talk a little bit about
and that it is a critical component. I mean, you want your agents to get involved with this, your team members to pay attention to where they are and see where their numbers are. And it's something we always did. It was a no-brainer for us when we had our team, because it also allowed our agents to just pull out their phone, put their activities in for the day with those quick, easy little drop downs. So yeah, no, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. And quick visual too, with that $59, not only would Mary be able to see this type of information on her computer, however, most of us are in the mobile world, right? So I'm just referring back to our main website. So with that, Mary would actually have a mobile-friendly way to look at her results on just like that appears here. So that's quick and easy for her, real time to see her numbers. This feature of the mobile results, also the lead agent has their own mobile of the entire results. So as an agent using our program as the lead agent, you don't have to go necessarily through the website or through your portal, click on the file, get this in front of your computer, and then search your top line numbers as to where you're at real time with your business. You will actually have a mobile feature as well that will show the entire team of the business where you're at and where you should be at. Okay. So that's really the 3 main areas of the program and a couple of the reports. Before we move on to anything else you want me to cover, I can certainly, you let me know what you'd like me to cover.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I wanted to have you show them also is maybe the whiteboard. We all have well, not all of us, but we'll have maybe a big whiteboard literally with markers where we're keeping track of where agents are for the year and that sort of thing. CTE has that, along with several other reports that show kind of where everybody is at any given time. When you're having your weekly team meetings, you can pop all these different reports up. Say you want to spend time talking about, who's leading the team right now, a number of appointments set, okay, or calls made, contacts made, that sort of thing. There's a report literally, and we don't have time to go through all of them today, but there is literally a report for anything you could think of. And what's cool is any of this stuff can be projected up on a big TV screen for everyone to see at any given time.
Certainly. And all of those tools like sharing on a television screen, all of that's accessible through those feature videos that we have on our main tutorial page. So you can quickly and easily, if that's your intention, to put something on your television in your office, that's great. So let's talk about a few reports, Bob. I'll jump into the whiteboard first. So on the whiteboard, again, this is just replacing the dry erase board. That's quick and convenient. If your admin needs to get this data out on a daily email to the team members, because they might not be coming into the office every single day, they can do a print screen of this, attach it to an email, and email it off to the team so they can see what the newest listings are and the upcoming closings or recent closings that the team has had. So that detail can be sent out as well. So that's really the detail of that report. Say you want to do some gamifying. So I'm just always going to go back to the home page because this is the whole menu item of the reports here. So we just covered the whiteboard. Say you want to do some gamifying like a contest. So what a great way to encourage them to fill out the daily lead gen link that they've been requested to do. Now, I'm currently in advanced mode. You can watch a tutorial video how to set a contest, but I'm just going to show you how much I love this feature to getting people motivated to do some things. So I could say, okay, well, our main focus right now is getting listings. So we want to focus on a goal of listing appointment set or a contest around listing appointment set. All I have to do is click listing appointment set, and then I can choose, okay, well, let's do this for the month of July. And then anything that's been recorded by the names of the team members for listing appointment set will populate them, and it'll basically show who's leading the contest based by those points. Now, if I choose to say, well, I have listing agents, I have buyer agents, I have multiple people, I can't really have a contest that fits one size fits all. So we have this advanced option. With the advanced option, you can choose up to 4 categories for the contest. You can still choose a time frame. Maybe you want to say, well, this contest is going to take place starting third quarter and ending third quarter. So you can just populate that, and you can say, well, we're going to have some people getting credits for holding buyer appointments, and we're going to weight that for maybe 1 point if they do that. So if you do have a contest, if you have a category that you had a buyer appointment held, you're going to get 1 point for every time you do that. Now, listing appointment set, we're going to create a value of maybe 5. So if you're out there making those listings happen, having those appointments set, you're going to get 5 points. So again, you can just understand this, just weighting certain values higher than the others so that you can kind of pivot on the contest in the motivation that you want and accelerate those people that are really saying, hey, instead of focusing on some of the lower point values, I'm going to focus more on the higher point values because I want to win the contest, right? So again, and that isn't a bad thing because the higher point values are the ones that you need the most, maybe. So,
right.
So again, this is quickly done, and all the measurements as far as the numbers as they progress through the contest all get calculated automatically by the data that's been submitted by the team members, and it feeds directly here to the contest page.
Very cool. It's so key to have this stuff out in front of the agents all the time, whether it be, your dry erase board or whatever. I know you guys have a feature in here called leaderboard. There's all kinds of things that you can do to keep your agents motivated. Having these little contests, they're fun. And they get them energized and doing the activities. Okay, that's the big thing. Gosh, there was one more thing, Dan, that I wanted to talk about real quick, but I can't think of it. But is there anything else that you needed to go over? Because we probably should wrap it up here in a minute, and then I'm going to kind of go over how to sign up and questions and all that good stuff.
Certainly. So, Bob, always at our company, we're your leverage. So you don't have to be the expert, Bob, at the MyHomeGroup on anything and everything that has to do with CTE. So all people that are using our program that you've introduced to, the people that are part of these teams that you talked about, if they ever need assistance, anything, because I always like to say you can use as little or as much of our program as you want. And at CTE, we really get excited when clients use our program at a high level. So at any time someone's going through some videos, having some questions, maybe need some hand holding, they can always schedule a one-on-one with us, and we can usually schedule those within 48 hours to the request.
Right.
So certainly just keep that in mind. You're never going to learn these 30 reports, in a 30 or 40-minute call like we did today. It's going to progress through maybe a couple one-on-ones, maybe some video tutorials. However, just keep in mind that we're here to help and assist you, and we're your leverage for that.
Yeah. The other thing, Dan, real quick, is where I used to get a lot of information without even have to bug you guys is the Facebook group for CTE, where you can go in and ask a question, and someone, either you or Calvin or someone, jumps in and answers questions, or you can just do a search in the Facebook group for, a lot of the questions are pretty commonly asked stuff that's probably been hit on and answered before. So that's another great resource for people with it also.
Certainly. Well, I'm completely satisfied with the things that I wanted to cover today,
Cool.
Bob. So if you want to finish up the call, certainly we can do that now.
Yeah, let's wrap this baby up. So here's the deal, guys. Again, I'm just going to kind of review what's going on. CTE is a program that's offered free for all teams at MyHomeGroup. and it's sponsored by Lizzie Hofer at Cross Country Mortgage. If you want to get the sign up link, I'll put things down, info in the comments to get a hold of me. You can send an email to me saying that you want it. I'll email it to you. And then Dan, it usually takes 1 or 2 days to get the program from you guys once they fill out the information.
Certainly, it should be less than 24 hours.
Okay.
Usually in a few. It kind of depends on when they're filling out the request information. Sure. If it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, by 2 or 3 in the afternoon on the same day, they'll probably have an email from us with their setup and login.
That's awesome. Okay, so you'll fill it out. Literally, it's your email address and your name, and whether you'll indicate whether you're a team or a single agent. You send that in. They send you the program either that day or the next day. Then you just go in and play with it. I think the key thing here, guys, is get this now so that you can start using it and testing it and play with it between now and the end of the year, so that when 2024 starts, you can hit the ground running with this thing and do your business plans and do it right from the first of the year. The cool thing about this also is any transactions that you have under contract that you're right in the middle of, if it's, turns from December 31st to January 31st, it all moves into your 2024. You don't have to go in and redo or, put them in again. And then what's cool is every year, you can always go back and see where you were last year versus this year. Okay. That's always a nice indicator to use as well. There's a lot of other features on here. I am not a CTE expert, so to speak. So if you call me and ask me how to get really deep into the weeds with this thing, I'm probably not going to be able to do much for you. I'm going to have you reach out to these guys, but simple stuff like how did I use it for my teams and how other teams are using it now. I'm happy to jump on a call with you and answer any questions with that. And also, anything team related that comes up for our teams at MyHomeGroup. That's what I'm here for as a resource for you guys. So I think that's all I have. Dan, did you have anything else for the group?
No, I think you covered it all. So I really appreciate you letting me do this today, and I can help facilitate with anything in the future if you'd like as well.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Dan, if someone is watching this video that's not with MyHomeGroup, how do they sign up for the link and test it? Where do they go for that?
So I think you were going to include the details for your specific group, right?
Yeah, exactly. If they're not with MyHomeGroup or they're not a team and they just want to pay for the service directly with CTE, where do they go for that? Not non-MyHomeGroup people.
Certainly. So they could go to ctebiz.com. So ctebiz.com, that's our main website. And there's questions and answers there, and they can sign up for their account individually or as a team on that website. Perfect.
Okay. Well, again, I thank you, Dan, for taking the time to come in and do this for us. It's been so helpful, and it's going to, hopefully, if we can get some people using this, they're going to understand how valuable and how reasonably priced the program is for what you get. And with that, we'll just kind of wrap it up. Again, guys, if you're watching this video and you want to get a link so you can start playing with this and start using it, there will be details down below in the comments on how to reach me. You can either book a call with me or send me an email, and I'll send that link to you. But thanks again, Dan. We really appreciate it. And guys, if you have any questions, as always, just reach out to me. Thanks again.